for sale. The tale of a peddler, some monkeys, and their monkey business. There once was a peddler who sold caps, but he was not an ordinary peddler, carrying his wares on his back. Instead, he carried them on top of his head. First, he had his own checked cap, then a bunch of gray caps, a bunch of brown caps, a bunch of blue caps, and on the very top, a bunch of red caps. He would hold himself very straight, walking slowly, up and down the street, calling, "Caps! Caps for sale! 50 cents a cap!" One morning, no one bought any caps. No one wanted even a red cap. Soon, he began to feel very hungry, but he had no money for lunch. I think I'll go for a walk in the country. He began to walk out of town, slowly, so as not to upset the caps on top of his head. After a long walk, he finally came to a great big tree. That looks like a nice place for a rest, thought he. So he began to slowly sit down and lean back ever so slightly, so as not to upset the caps on his head. But before he went to sleep, he put up his hand to make sure that his caps were all straight. There was his check cap, then the gray caps, then the brown caps, then the blue caps, and on the very top, the red caps. So he went to sleep. When he woke, he was refreshed and rested. Before getting up, he checked to make sure that his caps were there. But all he felt was his own checked cap. He looked to the right of him. No caps. He looked to the left of him. No caps. He looked in back of him. No caps. He even looked behind the tree. No caps. Finally, he looked up into the tree. And what do you think he saw? On every branch sat a monkey. And on every monkey, there was a gray or brown or blue or red cap. The peddler looked at the monkeys, and the monkeys looked at the peddler. He didn't know what to do. Finally, he spoke to them. "You monkeys, you," he said, shaking his finger at them. "You give me back my caps." But all the monkeys did was shake their fingers at him and said, "Tiz, tiz, tiz." This made the peddler angry, so he shook both fists at him and said, "You monkeys, you give me back my caps." But all the monkeys did was shake both their fists at him and said, "Tiz, tiz, tiz." This made the peddler even more angry, so he stamped his foot and said, "You monkeys, you give me back my caps." But all the monkeys did was stamp their feet and said, "Tiz, tiz, tiz." This made the peddler really very angry, so he stamped both feet and said, "You monkeys, you give me back my caps." But all the monkeys did was stamp both their feet at him and said, "Tiz, tiz, tiz." By now the peddler was so angry that he took his own cap, threw it to the ground, and began to walk away. But then, each monkey took off his own cap, and all the gray caps, and all the brown caps, and all the blue caps, and all the red caps came flying down out of the tree. So the peddler picked up his caps and placed them upon his head. First his own checked cap, then the gray caps, then the blue caps, then the brown caps, and on the very top, the red caps. And he began to walk slowly back into town, calling, "Caps! Caps for sale! 50 cents a cap!"